A notification flashed before Suho's eyes. Notice! Would you like to recruit the descendant of the White Flames, Esil Radiru, as a companion? He stood frozen for a moment, realization dawning upon him. Esil was a descendant of a monarch? Another message followed. Notice! Last survivor of the pure-blooded demon nobles, Esil Radiru expresses her gratitude to the player. Suho pondered the implications. Was this because Esil was the only remaining pure-blooded demon noble? Without hesitation, he made his decision. Accept. A new notification appeared. Notice. You have recruited the descendant of the White Flames as a companion. Another message followed immediately. Notice. A bond skill has been formed due to your connection with the White Flames descendant. Bond skill, Demon Strike, charge rate 0%. A devastating attack empowered by the energy of the White Flames descendant. Esil's eyes widened in shock as a status screen suddenly appeared before her. Confusion washed over her as she processed the unexpected development. Suho observed her reaction, realizing that his companions could also see their own status screens, something he hadn't confirmed before due to Gray's inability to speak. Baru seemed to grasp the significance of the moment, his expression sharpening with understanding. Meanwhile, Esil remained frozen in disbelief as the realization settled in. She was the White Flame's descendant. Esil, Suho, Gray, and Brokey stood in the shadow dungeon, ready to test the new bond skill. As the system activated Demon Strike, a surge of white flames enveloped Esil's body, red lightning crackling in her hands. The energy surged toward Suho, transferring through their bond. His hand pulsed with power as he observed the skill in action. However, the immense strain drained Esil completely, and she collapsed onto the floor, breathless. She apologized, admitting it had consumed all her energy. Suho acknowledged her exhaustion and told her to rest, but in his mind, he wondered, if one activation drained her entirely, just how powerful could this skill truly be? Meanwhile, Esil realized the skill's nature, recognizing it as the ability to transfer her strength directly to the young monarch. Suho anticipated an incredible attack and struck the wall with full force, expecting a devastating impact. However, the wall only cracked slightly. Both he and Beru stared in disappointment. Beru observed that the attack didn't seem much different from Suho's usual strikes, lacking any extraordinary effect. Suho realized it wasn't like Gray's bond skill, failing to meet his expectations. Meanwhile, Esil, watching the outcome, felt disheartened. Had all her energy really amounted to just that? Suho considered whether the skill's charge rate being at 0% was the reason for its underwhelming effect. However, since there were no instructions on how to charge it, he remained uncertain about its proper usage. Beru then made a request, asking if he could consume the carcasses of the demons brought to the Yacht Shadow dungeon. Suho immediately refused, explaining that he had brought them for shadow extraction. Upon realizing Suho hadn't attempted extraction yet, Beru suggested trying it now. Following the command, "Arise," a notification appeared, stating that the mana of the targets was contaminated and shadow extraction could not be used. Suho was surprised by the restriction, realizing he couldn't turn them into shadow soldiers. Baru explained that even his liege, Sung Jinwoo, had been unable to extract demons whose souls were tainted. Instead, he had controlled them through contracts, much like the Radiru clan had done. Seeing no other option, Suho allowed Beru to consume the corrupted demon carcasses. Beru expressed his gratitude, while Esil muttered in annoyance at being referred to as corrupted. Noticing Esil's exhaustion, Suho handed her a potion, assuring her it would help. She thanked him, feeling as though she had been nothing but a burden. Suho then offered her a place to stay, suggesting she use a sector of the city within the shadow dungeon. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Esil sincerely thanked the young monarch. A notification appeared, declaring that a section of the shadow dungeon had been designated as the Domain of White Flames. Another notice followed. Esil Radiru had been officially recognized as the master of the Domain of White Flames. Suho reassured Esil, reminding her that they were companions, so she had nothing to worry about. Suddenly, Baru's expression shifted to one of shock, immediately catching Suho's attention. Noticing the change, Suho turned to him. Baru revealed what he had uncovered. From the memories of the demons, he had found a clue about the Apostle of the Atarim. In the Shadow Dungeon, Suho and his companions sat in a circle, attentively listening as Baru prepared to share what he had uncovered from the demon's memories. Before revealing the details, he emphasized the importance of certain information. Star powder was not only spreading through the demon realm, but it also reached Earth, and the mist burns were not native creatures but magic beasts from outer space. Esil's shock was evident as she processed the revelation, realizing that star powder's influence extended beyond hell. Suho, too, was deep in thought, grasping the significance of the mist burn's origins and what it could mean for the battles ahead. Beru revealed that whether by coincidence or fate, the demons he had devoured were linked to Broki, or more specifically, the Hyena Guild operating in the Mount Guanak field. Through these memories, he uncovered a disturbing truth. The Hyena Guild was supplying humans to the demons, who then infected them, turning them into mist burns. These dark creatures were then used as ingredients in the production of star powder. Furthermore, Beru discovered that the production was not limited to a single location. There were multiple star powder factories scattered across different sites. The process followed a sinister chain. The Hyena Guild kidnapped humans, the Reaper Guild transported them, and the factories processed them into star powder. The deeper he delved, the clearer it became. The Atarim were orchestrating the entire operation, pulling the strings behind these three interconnected factions. Suho realized that everything was connected to the impending Atarim invasion. Beru then revealed an even more shocking truth. A human was responsible for creating the star powder manufacturing system. This revelation stunned Suho. A human? Beru confirmed it, explaining that the mastermind was none other than the Apostle of the Atarim, currently hiding somewhere on Earth. Additionally, there was another key figure aiding the Apostle, Mansung, the Vice Guild Master of the Reaper Guild. Investigating him could be the first step in uncovering the Apostle's whereabouts. Outside the Reaper Guild building, a swarm of reporters and media personnel gathered, their cameras flashing as they awaited a statement. As Mansung stepped forward, the crowd erupted with questions. The press demanded answers about the Hunter Association's investigation, to which Mansung calmly responded that it had concluded without any allegations. However, the media pressed further, questioning whether he had truly been unaware of the Hyena Guild's involvement in kidnapping civilians, despite the Reaper Guild's direct support. Mansung maintained a solemn expression as he explained that the Reaper Guild had only sought to bring order to the chaotic world following the cataclysm 2 years ago. He defended their decision to back the Hyena Guild, stating that their D-rank hunters were meant to serve the public efficiently. His voice wavered as he expressed regret, tears forming in his eyes. He lamented that his good intentions had led to an unforeseen tragedy and admitted that had he been more careful in his management, no lives would have been lost. With a heavy sigh, he lowered his head and issued a public apology for the trouble he had caused. The media buzzed with speculation as reporters processed Mansung's statement. Doubt and confusion turned to reconsideration as they noted that the Hunter Association had not raised any allegations against the Reaper Guild. As the realization spread, the narrative began to shift. If the Guild had indeed been supporting public safety efforts all along, then perhaps they were not the villains, but unsung heroes. Mansung smirked to himself, pleased with his own performance. Manipulating public perception was effortless for someone who had once been the greatest star in Asia. His confidence swelled as he reflected on the Hunter Association's response, or rather, their lack of suspicion. Even that cunning man had sent him back without interrogation. It hardly mattered. No one, not even the Hunter Association, seemed to realize that he was the true source of the star powder flooding the market. Unbeknownst to him, hidden in the shadows, Suho observed him carefully. Assessing the situation, he turned to Beru, seeking confirmation. But Beru sensed nothing. There was no trace of Itarim energy within Mansung. This meant he wasn't under their control. If that was the case, the truth behind his involvement had to be uncovered by other means. However, before Suho could act, Baru intervened. His tone was grave, his loyalty unwavering. Despite witnessing Suho overcome formidable foes time and again, this time was different. Baru was willing to lay down his life if necessary to stop his young monarch. The sheer mana radiating from Lee Mansung was overwhelming, something far beyond what Suho could handle at his current level. Just then, Lee Mansung's demeanor shifted. His once composed expression darkened, and his eyes burned with a menacing red glow. Sensing something amiss, he turned abruptly toward Suho's hiding place. But in that split second, Suho had already vanished into the shadows. Baru's warning lingered in the air. This opponent was unlike any before. A mere A-rank hunter in name, yet something about him was far more dangerous than expected.